It hits again. Kevy, he's done it one more time.
The Chaos Storm! Claire jumps in with the Grand Slam! But in a three-man Moonsfall, and it's just lights out for Direwolves, just like that.
The showstopper. Look at the backline. It's getting melted.
Something right now, Sonic Wave is there, it's getting lower and lower.
Oh!
Spot, they've stolen it! Mammoth have got the Baron! It's gonna fall on down, it's just too much damage! Rest in peace!
Welcome back to the LCO, where we have the fattest intros in all of League of Legends. Now, we also have the fattest games as well. Mad action happening last week, couple of upsets, keeping it very interesting. And look, it's week 5 now. We got another super week. You got 3 games last week, you get 3 again this week. We might have another next week too, who knows. If you check the schedule, you would. And fortunately for me, I do. So I know you don't. Go check it out. But look, something else you need to check out is what happened last week on Wednesday. Before we jump on into today's games.
Jumps in, he's gone golden nice and early. He needs backup from the rest of his team. Where can they find it? They can't. Tally just hits for the ult button. You're outplayed and you're gone. Now the fight still working in Chiefs' favour as Raze has already got a double. Make it a triple. There is the ace.
Oh, they're waiting for Kevy to actually spawn to take. Oh,
No, no, no! Why?
Carthage is still alive. So they want to look for a fight with a turn.
DP, they haven't spotted him just yet. He's got all the options in the world right now. Jumps in, the focus is Bulldog. Maybe not who you want. He's now just been ulted. He's just dead. The lights go out, and the Direwolves pounce. Into darkness they go. And kills they find. Kanga can't answer back. They'll kill your Nocturne. Ooh. And they might find Turn.
Maybe Philip does not have those summons available. He steals it.
He's stolen it. He's picked up that blue buff. Thank you very much for that one. Volcano is just going to get started as well. Hit the white flag because that's first blood.
Not only is it a super week, we've got some super content. It's Menulog meal time to kick off the day. You know what that means? It's me, it's Skimmy, it's Rusty. We're bringing you all the action. We're talking about food. We're talking about good damn things. Now, tell me, boys, how you feeling? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was really good, yeah. Having a great time. Been playing games. Been resting up the old voice, making sure that I can peak my mic just by saying sheesh like that a few times. So I'll get that out nice and early. I know that production love it. They need it, Mac. They need it. And I think the viewers also deserve that energy too.
Yeah, look, you woke me up. I might have to order something off Menulog to you know, get that energy back. Now, of course, it is Menulog mealtime. You know what that means? If you guys at home type MENUPOG in the chat, there will be one winner who wins a $30 code to use on Menulog to get yourself a voucher, to get some dinner for you and your friends and your dog and your family. However you want to spend it, feel free. Now, while you're typing MENUPOG in chat, while you're trying to win that giveaway, please, boys, okay, setting the scene. We're in Sydney, all right, specifically Sydney, in the CBD. You've worked a long, hard day casting. You know, events are back. This is a futuristic, you know, sort of thing. Sure. Events are back. Your throat's a little bit sore. It's about 6 p.m. You're feeling peckish. What are we getting? You've stumbled upon a $30 Menulog code. Right? What are we buying with it?
Okay, so now we're specifically in Sydney, Mac.
Yes.
Charcoal chicken.
Okay.
Without fail, right? Like, as far as I know, it's goated in Sydney. It's all I heard last time we were there for LCO finals last year. Juves went on about it with the Uber driver for about an hour. So
True.
We're well versed on charcoal chicken now.
Okay, so yeah, good on Juves. Good on Juves. Chicken man. Now, Skimmy, what's your choice?
$20 to go. Really depends how the show went. I feel like if you're not exhausted enough already, you're just picking up a halal snack pack and you're just sending it straight to the moon. You're just absolutely sitting yourself. There's the food coma. There is your good night, sweet dreams. You're not going to recover from that one anytime soon. You're going to feel fantastic. The grease is going to lock you in place. The food is going to be snapped.
Yeah.
It's going to be posted online. You're going to farm some impressions, but you're also going to farm some good ZZZs.
Very true. I think $30 is like the perfect amount to get a schnitty from a pub somewhere, and I know there is some quality schnitzel in Sydney, so that's what I'm leaning on. Probably just the schnitzel. Screw the salad, screw the chips. We're all there just for the protein, you know. Now, I think the giveaway is closed or closing very soon, so make sure you got those menu pogs in chat. But of course, that is it for Menulog Mealtime. Thank you all for watching. But we're going to be jumping on into the action, talking about the schedule, standings rather, where we ended off at last week. So, Skimmy, take me through this, mate.
Yeah, there's a lot to go through, isn't there? Once again, we find ourselves tied at the top of the table with Peace and Chiefs still 8-1. Yes, they both suffered defeats, both at teams that you would not have expected those defeats to come from. But regardless, they've created a bit of space between themselves because you also find a tie in third place between Pentanet and Order. Both teams that you would say really at this stage would round out the top 4, much like we anticipated. Those would be those front runners. Things do get interesting though as you go towards the bottom of the table. Direwolves, you'd imagine, will be that dark horse wrestling between Mammoth, who are still looking to try and create as many upsets as possible and could very well possibly get themselves into that final 5th playoff spot. But down the bottom, Kanga as well as Gravitas, that's where you're expecting to see a little bit more from.
Yeah.
Only 1 win for Gravitas so far. Big roster, so plenty of options for them to go through.
Now, Rusty, you weren't here on Wednesday.
Yes,
Please
sir.
fill me in. You know, you got to see everything from the side lanes. You got to watch it. You got to experience all the damn Super Week fun. As a spectator, did you want to touch on anything before we jump on into today?
It's nice being a spectator sometimes as well to get the bird's eye view of everything without having to talk as it happens. I would say that overall, everything kind of went to script, right? That's probably my biggest takeaway is nothing too surprising happened other than Peace just showing once again when they're against the best teams, they are genuinely clean with it.
It's such a true statement. Now, let's have a look at today's games and see if there's going to be anything spicy on the cards. If you were paying attention last week, you would have seen this already. But week 5, day 1, kicking things off, we got Order, we got Kanga, and then 7 p.m, Peace and Direwolves. Now, this is where it starts to get spicy. 8 p.m, we got a rematch. All right, we got Mammoth and Pentanet looking to go toe-to-toe. Pentanet, they want some revenge for what happened in that first round. Of course, it is that chance to get that revenge with Mammoth. But Mammoth, they've been on a little bit of a dry streak since those 3 wins they managed to pull earlier on in the split. 9 p.m, to close out the night, we have the Chiefs up against Gravitas. I feel like that there's a world where that's interesting, but it depends on how Gravitas are playing today. Skimmy, tell me, which game is tickling your fancy?
I think it's either the second or the 4th game for me personally. I quite like the second one just because I've been, a broken record stating how Direwolves play these crazy drafts, but I think Peace, if they do get challenged in the drafting phase, if something does catch them off guard, we've seen what's happened already, right? They've tried to showcase that, hey, Silas and Riven, these are some comfort champions of old, look what they can do.
Yeah.
And the script didn't work in their favor, right? That is how they suffered their first defeat. So I think if there was ever a team to try and really cause their coaches some confusion as to how they want to best prep for it, I think it could be that game.
Now look, we at the start of the season all put in our power rankings just to have a feel of where we think teams are going to be throughout the split. So let's bring them up and have a look at how accurate we were, and then just look at how you saw the leaderboard before. I'm thinking the closest here, I think we went over it before, is Kitty. She's got Mammoth not last, and she's got Peace highest on the rankings there. I think I've just thrown it in the bin. I think that was dead last. Kind of like predictions, right?
Bro, look at where Peace is for me.
Yeah.
It's a disaster.
Yes.
I have Kanga in 4th. The way things have been going so far, definitely think it's fair to say just a little bit too much faith in the playing roster there. Things definitely never go to plan when us as pundits look at this, right, and say, well, we only have the rosters on paper. Where do we think they're going to go? Crazy what a difference it can make for a team like Peace that have 3 years playing together as even like the mid-jungle, So
Yeah.
lots of experience there to kick them off on the right foot. And a lot of places where the rest of us were very wrong. Also, I think we should caveat having PGG second with, I don't think that any of us expect them to start the season and go undefeated, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us put them top 2 because we expect them to be a top 2 team by the end of the season. And as surprised as we all are, they dropped games early. I don't think anyone's actually surprised that they have dropped games early.
Yeah, we'll have a look at how this shifts as time goes on. I'm actually pretty accurate with my 5th, 6th, and 7th, I think. So I got, I'm not quite a bingo, but I got something going for me, Skimmy.
You certainly do, yeah. I think for the most part, right, you're looking at the top 4 and we're pretty consistent across the board in that regard, right? Like Chiefs is going to be a surefire thing, just given their history and their records as individuals. But yeah, otherwise it was that big jump. But I think also referencing Rusty's great point about PGG as to where they're going, I think you could make the same statement once again for that whole Direwolves Kanga situation, right? We were coming into this one thinking that Kanga might have the strongest start, but Direwolves by the end given so many promising rookies on their roster, should try to come into a league of their own. And it may have just started earlier than we anticipated.
Well, that's it. Now, we did have that Super Week last week, and going into this Super Week, let's have a look back at last week and see how all these teams went. Got a little bit of a summary down below, so looks like Chiefs the most clean with it. Unfortunately for Mammoth and Gravitas on the other end of the spectrum, they went 0-3. So I'm sure, I know that that can't be the case this week because we are going to have Gravitas and Mammoth playing at some point. So we'll see how it goes because, of course, some of these teams had like the death start to round 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mammoth is the one that I look at first, right? Because we saw them get 3 wins, and now we've seen them get 3 losses back-to-back. But they played Order, Peace, and Chiefs last week. Like, that's rough. That's so hard to prepare for as well. Usually you'd want one big team, ideally, right, to be able to prepare for, and then you can focus on that while still being somewhat prepped for the other 2. That's what every top team did, right? That's what Chiefs, Peace, and PGG, and Order, I think, all got to do in their first Super Week. So it was rough to be on the bottom of the standings here with a lot of good teams back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah, and I think it was only competitive for like one of Mammoth's games. I think Gravitas may have had like one okay game, but for the most part, we got to see those teams we expect to get the dubs play just superior. They were just playing out of their damn minds. We finally got to see another win from Kanga, which was a nice thing to see. That was when the Ari managed to sneak in. Chungy found a bit of motivation again to, absolutely kill it there in mid, Skimmy.
He certainly did, right? We were talking about, players that could definitely shine on 12-3, and that was one of the champions that got the most love shown towards it. It's a pick that he's very good at, and he showcased once again why we're so hyped for it, right? So I was happy to see Kanga get on the score sheet as they so desperately needed. But the biggest thing for me has to be the fact that Order finished that 1-2-1, had a really, really close game against Chiefs. Certainly could have had a week where they actually went 3-0. I feel like Order are coming into their own now where there's definitely been question marks as to how consistent they can be, but I think they're going to start to really challenge and almost ramp up towards the later stage of the split one.
Okay. Now, Rusty, you've been around the scene for like quite a time, right? So, do you have any fond memories?
I mean, pick a year.
2016. What's your best one?
Ooh, 2016 it was the first time that the office got very serious about the OPL and the LPL together. So we had the massive super team of casters. So I think it was getting that big casting team together for the first time. It was like 9 of us. Crazy.
No, there you go. So that's a pretty fond memory. Now, you guys at home, I love you. I love you. And I love your content. So please let us know what your fondest memories are, your favorite memories of League of Legends over the years. One in particular, you only get one. You can't, have heaps. You can't be Rusty and say, pick a year and I'll give you one from that year. There's no penultimate bloody one. You need the ultimate one. That's what it's about. Now, I don't know if we have any ones yet. I do know that we do have some, so that's pretty damn good. Now, let's have a look at what you guys are, of course, at LCO, hashtag LCO. Send us in your best damn memories, and it looks like Lothi's come in clutch. I have a few pretty amazing memories, but going to the World's Finals in Berlin in 2015 is the one that started it all. Look at that. That's
hey, I was there as well.
That's neat.
I didn't know Lothi at the time, but I was there.
There you go.
Fun
Did
fact.
you enjoy the crazy arena with the big screens and the lights? Damn, I miss LAN. I just need to point
that's
that out.
goals right there, isn't it? You just want to be a part of that, even if you're like not actively working, just a fan, just to feel that excitement.
Yeah, I reckon that would. I'm getting memories. I'm getting my own memories. Not
One
even
day,
doing
mate.
League of
That'll be
Legends.
us, bro. One day.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Look, maybe at the end of the year, who bloody knows? But look, we got another person's memory to go down memory lane with as well. Let's check out who it is. It's Release08. And what do we have here? This was the first Worlds I ever watched. I did get into League fairly late, and I got hooked by Doinby's play style, which I implemented some into my own. That was when they started picking like weird champs, right? And they did some crazy victory a couple of years ago.
This is actually one that's really close to my heart because I was an LPL caster that started my career at the same time that Doinby started as an amateur player in the LPL.
Yeah.
So we kind of clicked as a play style, and then I met him in 2018. He spoke English as well. So anytime I walked past him in the LPL studios, we said hello and had a small chat. So
That's
Doinby
nice.
very close to my heart as well. So I can
That's nice.
understand getting hooked by his play style also, which is very fun.
Now, look, we've heard from you guys at home, at least 2 of you, and I know there's many more of you watching the stream, so please, at LCO, hashtag LCO, go and tell us your best damn memories, and we'll get them on the stream and share them, because it's so damn wholesome. Skimmy, I didn't ask you before we move along. What's your favourite memory of League of
What
Legends?
was my favourite memory so far? Probably when I joined the OPL back in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Just I packed the bags from New Zealand. I said goodbye to the far now and said, you know what? I'm giving up the All Blacks. I'm giving up the Kiwi pride. We're going to jump ship, go to Australia and see what's up. And it's been a bit unfortunate, right, with COVID starting off.
Terrible timing.
But you know what? Such is life, right? We got a chance to hang out, meet some new friends, and thankfully the fans gave me some love.
Well,
it's always tough to start a new game.
I think my favourite League of Legends memory is just the LCO saving the bloody country, you know?
Oh.
So saving League in Oceania.
That's up
so
there.
That's definitely up there. You know, I remember the sadness at the end of 2020 when OPL went, and it was kind of like, oh, you know, that's horrible for League of Legends. I wasn't super into League at the time, but I know how much that would suck if it was any other esport that I was currently invested in. And then jumps on into 2021, all of a sudden, we're back, and it's a damn good time. Now, that's enough out of me spinning yarns. We love spinning yarns around here. We've got to start talking about the match. It's going to be Kanga, it's going to be Order going head-to-head for match numero uno for the day. Let's talk Kanga first, though. So, they've seen a little bit of success, not a whole lot. And, oh, we've got a sub coming through, Rusty.
We do. Now, Vito is going to be the man of the hour for Kanga. And if anyone remember, I'm just going to throw a name out there, and if you remember it, you're an OG. Bedoink was the original IGN of Vito.
Okay.
For me, I don't know the exact reason. I need to talk to him about this, but I think because he played with Sin, as in Juve's team Sin Vito was basically their slogan. I suspect that he's taken that Sin energy and applied it to his new game name. So I'm very excited to see if he can bring the Vito, not just the name with him.
Okay, well, of course, he's got to do a big old Vito up against Order, Skimmy, and Order looked bloody good last week, didn't they?
They certainly did. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They're coming into their own. They're really starting to showcase the strength that we knew they were capable of, right? A big reason why we placed them so highly in those power rankings initially, because you know when you've got a roster like this, you know what they're going to deliver. There's star power, there's carry power, there's individual mechanics. And sometimes it hasn't worked, but most of the times when it does, it looks really, really good. A big emphasis, obviously, on Corporal last week with those Leona games. Everywhere he went, it just turned to gold. Had a bit of a Midas touch on that character. So, really hoping that they can look to continue that level of form and, yeah, showcase why they are the team to watch.
Well, look, head-to-head here, I'm a little worried for Kanga because Kisei really started to show his true colors again last week, getting to play a few more champs that he was more skillful on. Look, he's been playing, he had to play a lot like that Renekton and wasn't having a lot of success in that mid lane, but it seemed like Order just started to go more towards some comfort picks, and from that point, they were just banging Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. When they look more, they have pocket picks for each individual player for sure, and there's been a lot of facilitating from the top and the mid laner solos. I think flexibility in draft was something that they valued really highly, but it wasn't always getting them results. Not like this game, right, where the last time they played against Kanga, it was almost a perfect game by this one death that you'll see here from Kisei down in bottom. But otherwise, a perfect game almost from them, and this is one of the ups that we saw from Order through the first round robin of the season, right? They definitely have been getting perfect games, but they've also been getting perfect games the day after games like that happen. So it's not what you want to see. So it's good they're starting to remedy that.
And look, sometimes some things go wrong. I'm still thinking, has Bio suffered from the embarrassment all weekend, going toe-to-toe with the Bazza? He did come out looking pretty rough. Now, I'm sure he's going to be excited to maybe have a chat about that one if a dub comes through for Order today. You know, we don't know that's for sure yet. Kanga could turn things around. This patch seems to be a patch for them. You know, what we saw last week was a great improvement overall from what we had seen previously from Kanga, but it still just seems like some of the pieces aren't quite clicking. Now, what are we looking at for Kanga today if they are to get this dub, Rusty? Are we needing that bot lane to sort of tighten up a bit?
I mean, bot lane does. I think it's obvious that my first port of call is going to be support jungle. I think those two are big deals. I would look specifically at the support for Kanga Mac, and I would say that's a place where we haven't been seeing a whole lot from, even in victories. So there's definitely a big improvement that we need to see there and how this operates with Limas. But to beat Order specifically, I think it has to be a jungle clinic from Only, right? But he needs winning lanes to do that, so it has to be a team gap. It's so difficult for Kanga right now to find those dubs.
Well, a good way to check the gaps and what's going on with both these teams is stats. You love stats, Rusty, and I think you've got a couple here you want to talk about.
Yeah, there's a couple of vision-specific, or rather kill-participation-specific stats. I said vision because the support was in the list. I can't help myself. Kill participation-specific stats to look at. So these are 4 of the most pivotal players, 2 from each respective team. And there's a couple of really interesting points within these stats. One of them is their kill participation actually going up in losing games. Shows, first of all, how important they are to their team. So, again, stats don't mean everything, but you can definitely infer, and we've also all watched the game, so we can back this up, right, with what we've seen. Only, for example, in a losing game, is the only person actually getting kills most of the time, is really the only person super proactively involved in the game. I think back to like a 6-1 Xin Zhao performance while his team almost didn't have a kill on the board besides his 6.
Yeah.
So, and he was playing towards Lip. So again, that's why these 2 players are crucial together. Their kill participation is above the role average for that reason as well, for Liv in particular. For Corporal and Kevy, it's the exact same logic, right? When losing, they're very heavily involved still because they are the facilitators for their team. And for these 2, it is support jungle, right? Corporal's been so much more aggressive lately. That's what we like. And what we really want to see is Corporal working with Kevy to try and keep that KP really high, while also in winning games, not just in losing games, because it should be a default strategy for a lot of these players, for sure.
Yeah, not Kevy, rather. Corporal did really start to show his true colours last week. We called for him, and he definitely delivered. So we'll see if he can keep that one up. He has been quite mobile, right? So him with that mobility. Kevy, of course, loving a little fight anywhere on the Rift, given the right moment. You know, he's doing so much work for Order. And look, he could be in contention for maybe MVP of the split if he keeps it up. He's had, you know, a couple of rough games to certain teams, so we'll see if that gets tightened up. But of course, look, going up against Kanga, I'm feeling that Order are going to be looking to put on a repeat performance from that last time they went head-to-head, Skimmy.
I think so as well. Yeah, I think you're looking at the bot lane, especially in Puma's control, and saying that he just looks so good when he plays these champions, which give him agency to not only, you know, bully the lane, but then actually transition that into something that he can actually utilize with. So you look at that game of the Vayne, I was blown away by it, right? That showcases his mechanics, the reason why he's, you know, one of these top 4 carries in the region. I like the Ashe. You know, the Ashe is something that we've just not seen at all. And you even heard from their coach, right? Series was saying, yeah, like, you know, Ashe, Varus, all these champions of old, which used to be that engage option from the bot lane. There's something to consider in a meta that's been so heavily revolving around the ideas of just defaulting to a Jinx, to an Aphelios, to a Jhin. It's like, no, let's bring us some utility. We've got plays, we've got moves, and let's see what we can do. So I'm thinking that Puma could put on a bit of a clinic here.
Look, someone else that have moves on the D floor, of course, is Kitty. So let's bring her back in. I think she's ready to bust a move down on the side lanes. Who are you dancing with?
I'm dancing with me, myself, and I for tonight. Well,
Kitty, who were you dancing with on the weekend? Who were you?
I was dancing with me, myself, and I. But something else, someone else who is good at dancing is Liv. I hope he is.
I think he probably would be good at dancing. I'm not sure if we're going to get to check in with his dance moves at the moment. He's probably practicing in the mirror. He forgot to turn his webcam on. So
my bad,
unfortunately, man has just figured out he's got 2 left feet, fallen over, and unplugged the Ethernet cord. So that is really unfortunate.
Yeah. Maybe the data's being capped, right? Too much anime. You know, we're living back in 2012 where you got like 80 gig data caps and, you know, it all gets used up on that one day and you're just thinking, well, what have I got to do to try and get like another, you know, 10 gig add-on around here?
Okay, well, I have word that Liv did manage to pick himself back up, do a little bit of a tango, and he's back on the webbies.
So let's bring the interview to Liv. So welcome back. Glad that your webcam is working. So let's talk about Fido. You guys have a new laner for tonight's game. With Fido returning to the competitive scene, joining Kanga as the mid laner, what will Fido bring to the table that will turn around for Kanga?
I think it'll bring a lot more aggressiveness in the early game. I think the way we play with Chungy is a lot more passive and like to scale, but I think the way we want to play the game, I think Fido will make it easier to like put a lot more pressure on them early game, and especially the way I like to play, I think I can like pressure them a lot more. So I do like a bit more of an aggressive early game.
Well, we also like watching the aggressive early game from every team, but specifically Kanga. And this will be our first time seeing Kanga play with their new lineup in the LCO. will Kanga utilize the element of surprise in tonight's draft?
I definitely think so. I think they might be a bit surprised. I mean, there could be a few little sneaky picks in there, depending on what gets through. But I think it'll be quite an interesting game, this one.
Well, I will be excited to see what Fido has in store for us. But this is probably the most important question I have for this interview, and everyone needs to know the answer to. So, does Fido watch anime?
He does watch anime. Yes, he does.
Oh my god.
It's complete. The 5-man squad, we all watch anime. We're planned tonight after this game. If we win, we're all watching the full series of Attack on Titan. And just one
Like
to
from
the
season 1 to
goddamn
season
end of
4?
it. From season 1 to the end of it. Yep.
Well, hopefully you guys enjoy your night, but guys, you have 2 more games this week. Like, come on, maybe spread it out a little.
Don't worry. The Attack on Titan buff, if we watch it all together, the bond will be so strong that we're just going to destroy every single other team. They just don't stand a chance.
Well, hopefully all subjects of Ymir will claim victory tonight. And thanks for your interview and best of luck in your match, Liv.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Vince, teammates all to watch Attack on Titan.
They can't make tomorrow if they're watching all 4 seasons, right?
If I do that with my
Alright.
like norm mates, do you reckon we'll just all get Challenger? Is that a strat?
No.
Oh, thanks, Rusty. Damn. All right. Well, Liv, your advice was terrible, but hopefully it works for you guys anyway. Now we've got to talk predictions. We've got to talk where we think this game is going. I feel like it is everyone on the same page here, surely.
Yeah, I mean, that's everyone that we expect to be on the pages we expect them to be on. I think
Look,
it's...
technically, I'm on the same page because my prediction is the underdog. So I'm thinking that Order's probably going to win, but I love risking it. I'm a risky man, and Kanga, I don't know. If they get this Attack on Titan buff going, then maybe I'll believe for the next couple of days. But today, they've got no buff, but they do have a stand-in, and I love a super sub. I love a super sub. Kitty, tell me, you haven't had your say in the matchup yet. Why do you think Order's going to win?
Kanga is playing with their new lineup today, so I'm not going to expect them to have the best performance. I'm assuming they only had a few games of scrims because it was just like an emergency sub in for Changi. But, Order's been popping off, and I think they're just going to grab the win tonight.
Okay, now, Skimmy, are you on the same boat? Look, you are that 1 point behind now because, of course, there was the shift last week.
Yeah, look, sometimes, you got to take a risk in life. And I said, you know what, I like what you're doing, Max, so I'm going to go for the underdogs as well. Went for PGG, they've disappointed me. And, sometimes that happens when you're looking at Yumi. So we brushed past that nice and quickly. We've jumped into another Super Week. I'm back on the bandwagon of hype, back for the favorites. Yeah, I think Order should have this one in the bag.
Okay, well, let's see if they find that dub. Rusty, anything to say on this one? What's your opinion? Hit me with the hot take.
I just think that Skimmy's going to have to be the one that takes a risk now because Kitty can cruise with the favorites, right? So
yeah,
we're just looking at this now. It's only 1 game difference, to be fair. Yeah. Things can change, but Skimmy's the one that's going to have to take the risk. That's kind of what I'm waiting for on this.
That or he doesn't and waits for Kitty to maybe
There's going to be an upset.
Maybe slip up somewhere.
There's definitely going to be.
I wonder if we're going to see that one. Now, let's have a quick look at both teams' top lanes. Head-to-head, they are both very strong individuals. Lived has not had a great split so far, but the stats still, some of them are sort of favouring him here, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things will favour Liv just because it's damage share of own team, right? It's gold share of own team.
Yeah.
Biopanther has been, as you can see, reflected through the champions that he's picking as well, not been played towards very often at all. And had a pretty shaky start to the season, so a couple of games there of some rough stats from him. Kill participation is going to be much more in Liv's favour because it only plays towards Liv in a lot of their winning games, as does Chungi. Damage share, I think because there's a couple of Jace games, etc. in there, I think he has like a 50% damage Jace game. Like, that's going to definitely give him a bit more damage overall, but Biopanther way more involved with objective taking as they are oftentimes much more winning. So Bio's still the person that I look towards, and he has a lot of pocket picks just quietly.
Yeah.
What about you, Skimmy? Anything to say on the matchup here?
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? I feel like they rely, Kanga, much more on Lived. He's like 5th damage overall in the entire league. Only 2nd is the top laner behind TN. So Definitely as far as like carry top laners go, you're looking towards Liv to try and pop off. As for Biopanther, I don't feel like the pressure's on him as much. 21%, still a modest amount, but he's got Kisei, who's got the highest damage share in the entire league at 32%. So Kisei's a bit of a demon when unleashed. We've been begging for it to come out, and it certainly has. So
Yeah.
I feel like for him, he doesn't have to necessarily have all the bells and whistles. He can just play whatever, as Rusty already mentioned, and put in a solid shift.
And look, Kitty, talk to me. You play with all these professional players often. If you had to play a challenging game, which of these two players would you prefer to have on your team? Do you synergize with either one well, or have you not really played with them too often?
I'm gonna tell you a secret. Biopanther actually doesn't play solo queue. He plays like maybe 100 games per year. So I would most likely prefer Liv just for solo queue because he does perform quite consistently in those games. But we will see how he does tonight.
Well, that's true. You know, a lot of professional players don't usually spend that much time playing solo queue. A lot of them will just, you know, look at the footage, look at the demos, try to figure out what's going on. You know, replays are key if you're trying to analyze how to play your lane better, how to play those opponents, you know, figure out their weaknesses, tendencies. It's all there. It's all part of the fun of being a competitive professional player. So good to see that Bio's leaning on that. I'm sure Lived is as well, but look, with the amount of anime he watches and the amount of solo queue he plays, ooh, any advice there, Rusty?
I mean, besides don't watch as much anime and practice more, like Bio actually is I would call him a student of the game.
Yep.
In that he knows so much, first of all, about League of Legends, full stop. He's one of the few pros that knows every ability name as well, if you remember back to all PGG's quizzes and things like that. But he also is an absolute minion wave goblin. So he just like is a student of understanding how to try and manipulate the waves and emulate the peak performance at every individual second that he's playing. So maybe it is only 100 solo queue games a year, but every second counts when it's Biopanther playing.
And it's all about lane optimization, and it's all about game optimization because game one of the day is ready. Let's jump on into Champ Select.
Let's do it. Let's kick off week number 5. Another super week, a second super week at just that here, Rusty, and it's a chance for the second round robin to really come into action, and Kanga will be looking for a new lease on life with a new mid laner.
Yeah, they got a point to prove it. They said more aggressive, right? So that's what we're looking for now, just how aggressive will Fighter be for them. And what does that actually do for the face of Kanga? Because this is, again, to replay the old record time and time again. We know that they have good individual players, but we've only seen, I think, one game from memory where they really looked good as a team. That was against Peace. They beat Peace, so they have the potential still there. But now we're looking at Fido and seeing what he can provide, where in that win, Skimmy, it was a clinic from Chungy, right? Solos across the board.
It certainly was, and I think you raised the point as to sort of support and jungle interaction, how they can work in tandem with one another. But we've been very, very hot on the topic as to mid jungles. You're looking at Kisei and Kevi, a very tough mid jungle to go into when they're running their show. So you're looking at Fido and Only and seeing with the limited amount of time they've had to practice, what does that actually look like? How can they be aggressive to try and really challenge in those first 15 minutes of the game?
Yeah, and how well are they going to be able to play together with that synergy with the time, like you mentioned. But beyond that, how do they look individually now that it is someone new there? Because comfort may change from top to bottom. You saw the hover of the Evelyn just quickly there as well, Skimmy. It's worth pointing out. Kevi would lock that in at any moment, I think, just because it's a pocket pick for him. But he also has said, I believe in interviews, that he's looking more to be a facilitator for the team. And so Diana is the meta Evelyn, let's say. And so Diana is going to be the one locked in.
Certainly is, and that's going to be the actually the Graves locked in as a response here from Kanga. What are their GG conditions? There's order absolutely slam it with the Diana Yasuo once again. It just seems to be left up time and time again. Not a fear in the world, really, as to sort of what your response is.
Yeah, a lot of teams, I guess they all feel super stuck with their pick ban at the moment. Caitlyn, Zeri, two really prolific champions on that list, and Diana kind of always seems to sneak through. You're never really going to ban the Yasuo. Other AD options will always exist. So if you were going to ban anything, it would be the Diana. Veigar are also really strong right now, and so Kisei, who has played it successfully, is going to have that banned away from him.
Yeah.
So a lot of respect being given by Kanga. Whether or not Veigar is counterable, doesn't matter. They don't want to see it. They don't want to deal with it. And just quickly, Cassiopeia is a Phyto champion, as is the Corki, and a whole lot of other weird champions in that mix, but so is Vex. And Vex is probably the third in line so I wouldn't expect it to be banned, but it is good into Dash Champions, and what are we looking at?
Plenty of Dash Champions. It's a really good point you raise. You know, when you do look at Fido's career so far to date, most play has been to Cassiopeia 8 games, so certainly a champion that will receive its first ban here in the LCO. Have to see what Kanga can conjure up then to make sure that he can pop off and perform and go into what is already a very strong start here in the order draft.
Grag is going to be taken away. Graves already locked away. Probably just a Scion angle, right, for Bio Panther in top lane. It's a 4th pick blind. You might expect it to be the Graves top. We'll see. They're going to instead prioritize their support. I don't mind this. It's actually now going to... I guess we'll find out if it's a flex of the Graves. I think that's unlikely. And if that was a Lulu lock-in just to take the Lulu away from Limas and Lionel, I would find that odd. If we know that it's a Graves top, why not just pick your top lane matchup and then have the counter for bottom? But alas, here we are.
Yeah, it's right on the money though with the Vex. It's locked in, it's confirmed, it's there for the taking. Won't be the case of a Graves mid, but in saying that, we have seen Kanga actually play it in the only team to do so far, but it definitely works wonders in the hands of Lived as well. 5th and final pick. They need a support. They've already got some engage options. The Thresh is still there if they decide to go for it.
Yeah, Thresh is an option. I think Karma is just a free option as well if you're going to match enchanters, if you're going to take the opposite path, which is what they're going to do here. And I like this from Kanga because it gives them a more effective win condition, let's say, right? Aggression through bottom. Early gank pathing from Kanga can be, you know, either through mid to bottom or just straight to bot with the Hecarim. Means that top is going to be a little bit more siloed. If you lock in the Leona, you have to play aggressive. You'd expect the team to be playing towards the Leona lane. Order, they're going to see this. They're going to pick a matchup top lane that I think is solid. We've actually seen, I think it was Liv being solo killed by Topoon in a matchup similar to this style.
Yeah.
The Malphite just shows up, slams the ground, has a great time, and then the rest of the team of Order can play very similar to Kanga across the map, which is, you know, mid through to bottom.
Yeah, the Jace Malphite, what a time that was when a gank was coming against him, and yeah, 2v1 just took place in his face. Bit of an interesting time for him. Regardless though, Order are going to confirm their 5th and final pick, which is going to give them that extra level of you know, knock-up potential, right? You've got the wild growth from the Lulu, you've got the unstoppable force from the Malphite, you've got the bread and butter to make sure that Kisei has the pick of the litter to land his own ultimate. But Kanga, quite rightly, as you say, plenty of engaging options. If they find a target, they can lay out a CC time and time again, and a cleanse really isn't going to help.
Yeah, there's not going to be much that a cleanse would be able to provide. Just overall, with these compositions, I think we have to highlight, again, Order very strong skirmishing and incredible team fighting, because Lulu has a knock-up, Malphite has a knock-up. They have the potential of engage from the Malphite to set up the rest of the combo. They can do the same thing with the Diana, and also Aphelios when he's got those purple weapons, right? Can just grab them, engage, lock a couple people down, and it's easy to have that follow through. So again, from top to bottom, Order make a lot of sense with their composition if it's about fighting. Objective control, definitely a place to look. And mid lane going to be the place to put most of my focus on. The side of Kanga, I feel like Vex, as long as she's not at risk of dying, has pretty solid push and wave control 1v1 against the Yasuo. But to have those things and to not have the threat of dying, it requires only to start through mid lane at least a little bit, or for Lionel to be active on the map on resets to help mid lane out, right? So this is one point of criticism we've had for Kanga, and one point we've praised Order. Corporal very active, Lionel very passive, and I think this is the type of game where the shoe needs to be on the other foot.
Yeah, especially when you're playing a champion like Leona, where you want to see the the Hex flash and lane, you want to see those level 2, level 3 all-in punishments where you can't afford to step up and let the Aphelios bully you for free. Going to be an interesting time to see what this new look really does look like here for Kanga Esports as we load into the Rift for the very first game of Week 5. Another chance for Kanga to show up and showcase what they are all about, but for Order, it's all about those crazy wombo combos, the word that you just love to hear. Let's check in with the coaches and get to hear where things are at so far in this one. Let's welcome back Coach Drac from the side of Kanga.
How you doing?
Yeah, very well, mate, very well. I suppose the big talking point right now has to be the fact that you do have this new starting mid laner, so I guess the question then becomes, how's practice been? How much time have you spent with him, and what can we expect?
Practice has obviously been different this week since we had the change of personnel. It obviously results in a dynamic shift, especially in things like the way we talk in game and communicate. As to what you can expect, while we're still looking towards growth over the split, we want to show that our win against Peace wasn't a fluke. We want to land some punches, throw a bunch more, and let everybody know that we're here to play, and we're here to win. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely, and it's all you can really ask for at this stage of the game. Quickly having a look at this draft, we're seeing a lot of Diana Yasuo. Is it a conscious decision just to let it go through these days?
I mean, we had the ability to play it as well, but there's still a priority on AD, which we like. We're comfortable on the Jinx. We've obviously got a lot of practice playing into it as well, so it's something that we've beaten and we've won with as well. So we're not afraid of the combination, but obviously the combination itself is strong. So.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Awesome, mate. Well, we're going to crack on with this game. Wish you boys the best of luck for this week.
Thank you very much.
Always nice to hear from the coach of Kanga Skimmy, but just jumping into this one real quick. One thing that does stand out to me while we're looking at bottom lane, we're not looking at bottom lane anymore, is that it was the Conqueror for Aphelios. So usually a lot of ADs will be choosing between the lethal tempo, the Conqueror. There's definitely options there. I think in this game, having that extra damage and not needing the extra range, first of all, right? They're going to be right in your face. It's going to be pretty easy to find a target to auto-attack, so I don't mind this at all. Just means that, again, the Jinx will start to outrange you, and a fully stacked Jinx massively outranges you. You just have to keep that in mind.
Good talking point. And as we do see, only going for a bit of an invade, going to bounce his way into the enemy wolves and realize that's already gone. Kevy's already pathed topside, but he's unsure where to go with this next move.
Ooh, the dive.
It's the Ghost. He's looking for that dive on towards Kisei. Where's Kisei going to go? He's got the flash, he's got the ignite, but he's not going to use anything. Well, he is, but to no avail. And Fido, first game, first blood.
Yeah, well done by Only. Super aggressive with his gank timing there as well. Kevy's super low, so it's not like he's going to get any assistance from the jungler of Order, who's full clearing. And he's also going to be spotted on this pass, so they know the Diner is here, they know it's a full camp clear, and they know that it is most likely a reset unless it's a Scuttle Crab. So it depends on how they want to play this one out. Kanga, you will see them right now. Immediately ping on my way to the Scuttle Crab. Vito still has priority in mid lane because Kisei died and doesn't have teleport to force that priority. And so it's going to be Scuttle either secured or a fight onto the Diana. And this time around, it's just going to be the choice of securing that Scuttle Crab. Resets now probably to the bottom side of the map and Only has many more camps waiting for him where Kevy has none.
Yeah, next question then. Where will Kevy go? Will he go for the invade to put a bit of pressure, given that his bot lane so far is delivering just that? Or will they just go for the safer option and a one-for-one trade on those crabs? A great start here. I mean, you talk about Fido being known for his aggression. That's what they've been hyped up for. And you really wanted to see Only run through that mid lane and control it from a very early stage. And given that we've seen a lot of these Diana Yasuo's turbo farm to level 6 before they make that first initial play, it's the perfect start.
Yeah, absolutely. Having Phase Rush, having Ghost, having the presence of mind to dive that lane as well. It's not often a tower that you expect to see dove, such a short lane. And a bit of presence of mind perhaps from the Yasuo. A flash does a lot of work to stop Hecarim dashes, depending on the timing of it. You have to time it perfectly. But kind of got pushed away from the turret completely, so it might have been just really good spell usage from Fido, good zones of control perhaps, but either way, huge first blood. You could see, top lane's having a big fight.
Oh no, Lived. He's got memories, he's got flashbacks to that time again. Going to turn around, hit him with the Q. And that's going to bounce up the wall straight away to make things look a little bit healthier, but he had to burn the exhaust.
Yeah, Biopanther, you would say outright winning that trade. As long as he's able to collect most of these minions, does get the passive shield back there with relatively short order, so he's actually going to miss a lot of these. This kind of equalizes the summoner spell usage. Bio, this early into the game, doesn't want to use the Q too often. Skimmy wants to time it around having mana flow band ready. Otherwise, you just run yourself out of mana really fast. Lived wants to crash this wave and leave. I think he's timed it right, but Kevy's in.
Yeah, he's got quick draw and he has a flash. Only is parving topside, but maybe a fraction too late. The angle's not looking as attractive as it once was. And Kevy's got to back away once again.
Yeah, and ultimately that is unnecessary from Kevy, it feels like now. If the kill wasn't going to happen, it was a fair look, but just well timed from Lived on the disengage. The real winner of top lane that we just needed to highlight was the teleport advantage from Biopanther, because now they both get to lane it's going to be a level 6 Malphite who's going to have a pretty good time now. Tier completed. Mana flow starting to stack.
Is he going to go for the all-in? He's got the Shadow Surge. That would be risky underneath the turret. He's just burned his passive as well. Was just about to come up, so the fear would have been there. He doesn't have the Ignite.
I think he wants it still. You don't sit in this bush unless you still want it. That cannon is not taking damage yet.
Oh, good wind wall. Perfect wind wall. Only he's still hunting for it though. Gonna get him with the regular dash. There's the fear. There's the damage.
Oh, it
One
missed.
more. Electrocute Brock, please. Oh, the shield.
I can't believe that missed. I actually swear to God that Q hit from the Vex, but it just scrapes by. So close to another kill in mid lane, and that would have been devastating for Kisei, the lead that Fighter would have had. Windwall might have been nice, but also a bit of miscommunication there, it feels like, from Kanga, right? Only still commits to the play where Fighter just kind of backs right off. You can't help but think if he was ready to go, it might have been a flash save, and the play still being able to happen. Means that Order will get the full reset off here, and they'll be able to get straight back onto the map.
Not necessarily now as punished for not having level 6s to answer back into that trade. It's going to give Kevy a chance to do the second rotation of his jungle, hit level 6, pick up blue buff, and now look to try and put some pressure as well as vision around this initial dragon. Pings are going topside, but Herald's still another 40 seconds away. But you can see only who has hit level 6 first, still shadowing and actually cancelling the recall.
Just had a vision, here he goes.
Here he goes, gonna hit the ultimate, lock him in place, dash him back into that mid-wave. Kisei got no minions to dash towards this time. Shock and horror, that's the emote. And another kill denied in the mid lane.
And listen, it may not be a kill in mid, but the amount of pressure that this is building is huge. Fido is getting closer to that ultimate being ready and available. This time doesn't need to be used for lane. I mean, if you're Kanga, obviously you want the kills, right? You want to have the gold that comes from it, as well as pushing Kisei out of lane for the period of time that he's still farming right now. And this is all kind of taking the window of opportunity prior to both the Diner and the Yasuo being 6. Now, if you see the counter gank from the Diner, it could be a different fight. It could be a completely different game. And so that window of opportunity is gone. But the amount of space created for Fido has been huge and only putting in some work.
Yeah, putting in a lot of work, right? Leaving Liv to himself, who hasn't really been the recipient of any bullying tactics so far. This game has been hugely targeted in these last few matches. And no doubt is, at the moment, I imagine, loving his life. But it does beg the question now that Kevy is level 6, ultimate ready, just how impactful these supports can be. We've seen Lionel poke his head into mid lane at least once, but with the solo flag, that could really be the turning point.
Yeah, we're constantly going to be having our eyes towards the middle lane. Just a quick check-in as well with the side lanes, however. Herald is going to be started. Lived is going to be the first one to spot this and places a ward on Kevy's head. Control ward in the pit. Doesn't get spotted, but also doesn't see that ward to clear it. And it's a map flip. 9 minutes into the game, it is going to be the decision of Order to put their Malphite bottom, to put their bottom lane top. Kisei is still steadily losing in this 1v1. It should be a Herald secure, but time is the true tell here.
Interesting to note as well is they've actually left Lemus down bot side to answer the 1v1, so he's going to get some solo experience. He's hoping for some play. It's going to be very hard though going into a Malphite. This is just going to be free for Order.
Yeah, so this is always going to be free, like you mentioned, just because Lemas has stayed towards bottom. There is a world that you bring 5 people up, that's an ult.
That's the second one.
2 ults. The purpose of those ults, I don't understand. Now they just don't have them. But I think timing-wise, it still will just be the objective secured by who's really just there to gather information. The moving mountain. Knows that he's not going to be in a 1v1, so he can't just on-site all in Lemas. You know what I do want to see, though?
Yeah.
This is a fair window to recall for Kisei, but an active Yasuo, think Yuri style, can get so much work done with the rest of his team composition. You know, hitting a side lane as this Yasuo, you've got a Malphite, you've got a Lulu ultimate. The tools are there. It's about getting priority in mid. Having an actual moment of freedom in mid is so difficult with the amount of push that Vex is forcing.
Yeah, as you can see, the wave just got on a heartbeat, right? A cycling of those cooldowns. It doesn't really matter the minor issues at this stage of the game. Could be an issue here topside though. His lift is down to half and he's getting lower and lower on that mana. He's focusing on the minion wave to prevent this from really doing much more than just a single plate. But Lionel is still on the rotation, searching for a moment to shine, to punish, and to really capitalize on Leona's advantages.
There's so many wards here that Lionel's not clearing right now. I think he's got sweeper ready. Be nice to see him use the sweeper before he enters the lane. The information that Order have is just can't be compared, honestly. Kanga don't really have anything going for them right now, and he's just sitting on wards. He's about to walk over another one. My man's is in the gauntlet. He's just waving to everyone as he passes by. I'm still here.
He's taunting the opposition. Kevy's going to look at this one. Don't doubt it for a second.
Okay, that's a tell from Kevy, though. That Q, if you're not going to follow it up, is a giveaway that you're on vision. So that Lionel may actually adjust the way he's playing now instead of using the sweeper. Oh, only.
Here we go, though. Only is definitely looking for that moment to shine. He's going to jump into the river. And he's going to land the Solar Flare as well. Two in tandem, jungle support, putting in the work that they need. And Moonfall goes out. Kevy 1v3. A little bit adventurous. Shadow Surge there, because Kanga aren't done just yet. They're going to hunt for this Lulu, who's forced to burn the flash and the exhaust. Flash forward from Fighter though, he still wants that kill, but a shield as well as a heal, and he's safe under the top tier 1.
So big from Kanga. Once again, the threat of the dive is here. Limas has brought the wave in. Look at Lionel, probably is the one to go forwards. I think teleport, more than enough to deter them this time around, but they force the teleport as Lived is looking to hit the turret. He'll tank a couple shots for good measure, but he's crashed the wave at the perfect time for this. So this is a cross-map major dub for all of the Kanga roster. It starts with Only. It's the big Hecarim ultimate. He can 1v1 at any point here, Kisei, I feel like, as well. Fido's able to get the free resets as the Leona ultimate from Lionel connects, and it's a stun. Kevy comes in with a nice combo, but because he doesn't have the second part of that combo to follow through, they're just not going to have enough damage, and ultimately it's unnecessary, it feels like, from the Order jungler there. The big plays here from Kanga overall. The thing is, Skimmy, it took them so long to find that play, that they had mismatched lane assignments and setups, that they're actually still behind in gold.
That's a good point. Does feel rough in that regard. You're looking at the total gold as it stands right now, and it is Puma leaps and bounds out of Limas. Both actually opted for early calls, which have now both been completed. They've been much more keen to play a passenger role in these initial moments of the game, farm up and let these bruisers do what they do best, but Order without a kill, they have got the turret. That's really the map control working in their favor.
Things lining up really nicely for them right now. I don't know about the contest on this dragon. If you're Diana Yasuo still don't have their mythics completed, that's probably going to be the biggest thing that Order are waiting for. Shield bow. Not too far away now for Kisei. Corridor belt very close as well, just components all done, just the recipe to be finished. So I would say give away this dragon unless Kanga make a mistake, play for the next objective that spawns. The issue is you've got a Herald and a dragon stipended pretty nicely for Kanga to go coast to coast. If they get tabs on the items that aren't completed yet, they might still feel stronger and continue to force those plays.
Kevy's Rune Tree stopwatch is now available as well, so if he does hit that power spike that the mid-jungle so desperately need, then there is a lot of playmaking potential available. All flashes there for the taking too. Game on really here for Kanga. They got the very first Drake, the Hextech at that. Second one's going to be this Ocean Drake up in 15 seconds. The other one's in the river so far.
Bringing the Malphite into the fray is a pretty big deal here by the side of Order. He's very strong even with just component items, and the engage.
Kanga found a moment. They're going to jump in here. They don't have a mid laner, but they also didn't realize that Kisei and Kevy were not there. It's a potential moment. Perhaps just too much respect shown towards this Malphite.
Yeah, Bayer flashed away immediately, however, so he knew that he was not meant to be there. Lionel misses.
Center blade goes awry, but in jumps Only. Solar Flare laid on top of Puma, who instantly hits the fletch and the cleansing. Dive shoots out for safety. Biped now turns around with conviction and finds himself a double kill. It's a shutdown also. Kisei going to commit with double summoners to his name as well, and also get a double kill. And the pain and punishment of what was a brutal laning phase is now going to be answered back in the second Drake of this game.
I mean, that's just a massive combo from the side of Order. You group up in the river, you give them a shot, they're going to take it straight away. Mythics or not, Order are showing everyone, ourselves included, that they don't need them to win the team fight. Their composition and their players are just a little bit too skilled. A lot of individual kill attempts from the side of Kanga. In the replay, you'll see only tries to go onto Puma and just Puma with their Hecarim ultimate. So there's not a lot of disarray. Leona misses the ultimate there. You'll see this. Puma just flashes over the wall, has the Lulu ultimate to keep him relatively healthy there as well. He survives, while the rest of Order just all press their R buttons, right? They just go crazy with it real quick. Biopanther comes in, cheeky double there for Kisei. And if this is when they don't have Mythics, they're about to go back to base, get so strong, and show up to this Herald ready to do it again.
It's terrifying, given the fact that that's just given them a 4K gold lead. And if that's how the fight looks, as you quite rightly point out, then it's going to be devastating the second time around. It just really felt like the fight fizzled out when they all-inned on towards Puma, who flashed away. They lost vision on the target. They all-inned and sort of compromised their positioning to make sure that happened. An Order, a team that will certainly bite back if you ever disrespect them in that sort of fashion. Kanga, however, going to find a bit of push in this bottom lane. They have lost a Drake, but they are going to get a tower back. Tolofay goes out again. It's not going to stun. It is going to slow. And Kisei is in trouble. Nova to dash. You burnt the flash before. Tornado's going to be nice. He's got no one here to protect him. And it's another shutdown found by the Star Jungler in Only.
The slow's all you need from that Leona ultimate. So perfect positioning there as well from Only from Lionel. Very aggressive from the side of Kisei to even look at that minion wave for 1 second. If you look at where the rest of his team is, Kevi's just summoned the Herald top lane inner. Limas is going to step up with Liv to try and defend this one. That gets rid of the Hullbreaker resistance buffs from your Graves, but they will be able to at least clear the wave out. Graves' ultimate had to be used for that one. Meanwhile, bot lane, Fido chips away at that turret, gets it pretty low himself, and is just going to be able to, I think, sneak the Gromp into a reset. But like we spoke about, right, the Drake fight with the item advantage goes awry for Kanga. They have to sacrifice the Herald as a result, so they choose to play cross-map, which in my mind is correct play. You know, you're not going to fight the Herald, you try and find a pick. They actually get that. Really nicely done from Kanga in a losing situation to find a winning moment.
Yeah, it's close to gold once again. What was starting to break out to a 4K lead has been halved in a heartbeat. That's max range. I don't even think Fido expected it. He's hit the fear. He's forced to run underneath this turret. The Everfrost is there. Perhaps now a bit of turnaround damage to answer back, but Electrocute will not be enough in this occasion, especially with Corporal lurking in the shadows, baiting out any gank attempt.
Top lane's going to be the port of call now. Lionel and Only once again together, working together, Skibby. It's just beautiful. We're seeing what we wanted to see. Bio is unkillable, though. You have to remember that if it's a Graves and a Hecarim going into what is a frozen hard and some change on a Malphite, he is probably just going to walk away. The real goal is going to be the structures near him. And in best case scenario, I feel like you force his ultimate. Limas does need to be careful. Knows where the rest of his team is and is going to pass towards them. We're seeing a dance on two different fronts here, Skimmy, and I feel like Order's got more threat. But Kanga's going to chip away piece by piece.
Certainly are. And I think you're really looking at what Liv's can achieve with this whole break. It's obviously going to be diffused by Biopempha's rush towards this Frozen Heart and the Fimble Winter, which isn't too far away from being completed as well. Just being picked up. Mythic items are overrated. He's very fed, so he's not going to be under too much pressure, you'd have to say, from this Graves. Question does become, though, how can they manipulate the map? Because there's only a single TP on either side, mid and top, and you're looking to really see which team can be the conductor to play that proactive style.
Alright, so we've got Baron up in 2 seconds. Drake in 50, Order deploy through mid lane. Pick of the litter on which direction they would like to move towards. Yes, it does show top lane, however, so I feel like starting on the top side of mid working down is probably the safest option for your Yasuo, or Kisei would die if he goes to the wave. Nice to see a bit of patience here from the mid laner of Order. He's going to be smart. He's going to group with his team first, mid wave. Always #1, Gimme. No matter what the play is in League, swear to God, if you don't have mid setup, you're actually open to risk.
the heartbeat of the map, really, isn't it? It's always going to start off there.
That's it. It's the Silk Road. If you don't have access to the Silk Road, you are just in a losing situation.
A lot of pressure put towards topside, however, as Skiffy did have to answer towards it. Kanga to invest 3 members topside. Plant some vision, but it's going to be cleared out very nice and early, and Order certainly aren't going to give up any space of their own side of the map for free. Not going to look to really contest for it, however. It does feel like this game is largely revolved around skirmishes over these objectives.
Lots of pressure still topside. It feels like Kanga are willing to sacrifice the Drake for the top lane inner turret, 550 gold, and here's Kisei.
Insta flash, but is he going to be safe from this one? The ultimate underneath the turret only jumps in and realizes that's not the play I'm after anymore. Here comes the Malphite. He's got a flash, he's got an ult, but will he commit to it? Because there's no backup right now. You don't have your Philios, you don't have your Diana. I don't really think a flash forward of the Malphite is going to be that good when it's just eluded to back you up. They're going to take another trade. This is what Order's done so meticulously all game. Forget about whatever Kanga's game plan is. They're just taking more turrets.
I don't think he gets this in time. The teleport is almost just... Oh, they're going to have to fight.
Base check and a flash forward. Fido double fear. Can he find much more with this one? The rocket goes to right again. Just goes straight down the middle. No explosive damage this time. Pumet finds that kill, but will find his own demise in the process of it. Kevy already on that disengage angle, running away from 4. He has a flash. He's going to have to burn it.
Will burn the flash. We'll get out at the very least. Order still push the mid lane inner turret. They take that. Biopanther, if you look just quickly towards where that Malphite is, he's going to be taking the top lane inner turret as well. So the Drake being reset is a big win. The combo has to be a Lulu ultimate for the Yasuo if anything's going to work here.
Will they contest? Will they go in with the 3v4? It'd be adventurous, but I wouldn't put it past them. 2 Drakes now secured here for Kanga as Order. Just looking at them in the river, Bio's put in some serious work topside and opened up a win condition for them.
But the end result is really 2 turrets taken for the Drake as a trade overall, right? Like, you do get that 1 kill. You'll be happy with that one. Puma's still trading. So overall, it still massively favors the side of Order, right? Control of the map definitely goes their way. The gold lead's starting to stretch just a little bit more in their favor also. And just, again, block by block, piece by piece, they're starting to draw further ahead. Fido.
Well, he's just gone in, and without any vision, he's realized this is not the play I'm looking for. He's got backup, a blast cone away, he's ticking down with some burning damage. Challenging smite is not enough on this occasion. And lucky to be alive, quite honestly.
Yeah, and shoes on the other foot this time, right? He is the one just barely scraping away with no health to his name. Not going to be Kisei this time around. Well played, by the way, from Fido in that last little skirmish. I feel like we haven't been talking too much about the mid laner of Kanga, but he's been a bit of a freak with it so far this game. The Zhonya's was perfectly timed to stop the Diana ultimate from doing a single thing. It just fizzles. And the fight in Top River a few minutes prior. I mean, he's been pretty clean with it. Beck's one of his most played champions for a reason, I guess.
As far as debuts, where I suppose you really wouldn't consider it a debut. Last time he's played in the competitive scene, at least in Oceania, was 2018 with Sing Gaming, as you highlight. But it's been a hot minute since the competitive scenery, landscape has been perused, you'd say. But as far as game 1s go, answering a lot of our questions.
Mythic finally completed his skimmy for the Graves in top lane. Shield Bow with a hull breaker. This is basically the tech to say nothing can kill me. In saying that, if he can't kill a Malphite, then it is just an unstoppable force and an immovable object. Just really looking at each other doing nothing.
I think we call that a fridge.
Yeah, you could call them fridges. I like the wordplay of unstoppable force, to be fair. Roll with that one.
That's pretty clever.
It's the rest of the map though, right? So top lane is kind of nothing. Lived having exhaust, you would say at this point in the game, is just a disadvantage for Kanga as a whole. If Lived is grouping, the Hull Breaker becomes a lot less efficient for his stats, but he's still a Graves that gets plenty of stats. And the item itself is still like 112% efficient without them. So can still group, is grouped.
Is grouped at the moment, and Johnny's going to jump in there and seize a moment to see if they can pounce upon any put-out members in the mid lane.
That's just not the way they would hope. That's just not it, right? Like, that's a play with Vex, who I think was at blue moving towards top. Like, I really do feel like you need Fido on your screen to make those plays work. Just trying to perhaps pick at the numbers advantage they had for that brief moment. But Order just going to kick this at Baron off, draw the pressure over now. No Hecarim ultimate, it has to be Lionel. They are fairly clumped.
Look at that, TP's going to come in from Biopan, but Liv's got to have a massive journey to run all the way from bot to top to make this one an even fight. It's going to be a 5v4. Locked in place, CC chain, Biopan just died. He can't play the game. He's hit an ultimate, but he's actually ulted back into his own fountain because he is dead. Lemus with a shutdown, but a massive moonfall enables Kisei to answer back. They've got a Baron, they've got a kill, and they still possess a numbers advantage. Lemus with the lethal tempo trying to kite as far as he can, but it's not going to be enough. Yasuo is huge.
No, but can we talk about the stun duration of Biopanther on that Malphite? Was that like 8 seconds? My man didn't get to move at all the entire time. The issue for Kanga is they choose to take the fight after it is completely done. So it starts with Jinx Trap, gets feared by the Vex, gets Everfrosted, gets Leona ulted, gets Leona stunned. He can't move. Just run away, Kanga. The fight's lost.
If there's ever a time where you want to say tank, by the way, I feel like that is your proof. He's going to have some tenacity now with that Sunfire. He's going to be hoping for it at that moment in time. A 2v1 in the mid lane. Puma, what can he do? Red and white! A caught an ambulance, and this time it is for me. Lived, surviving without a hull breaker, but he still has the shield bow online and active to go. Solar Flare not going to connect, but it does not matter. Shutdown is found. Fighter with the kill. He's burnt that flash. Now is he compromised? He doesn't have his own use. He may just die in the process of it. And Biopanther, angered by the fact that he died, is going to come back and claim blood.
Yeah, Biopanther is genuinely unkillable still now that he goes back, picks up his mythic as well, and then Kevy just comes in and cleans up. You've got Corporal shielding on the Lulu the entire time. And again, I mean, Limas is top. I think he was dead at the very start of the play in the first place. So Kanga, it's still messy from their side. There's been so many different improvements from them that we can celebrate, but at the end of the day, they're not as good as Order right now in this game, and their gold is stretching to be insurmountable at this point. And I don't see the way back besides a mistake from Order now on the card. Yeah, I mean, this fight starts, you've got Puma that gets caught out of position. So I think the rest of his team was recalling after pushing the top inhib. So you could definitely, again, make the statement that, well, what is Puma doing there, first of all? Kisei tries to come in and help him, but he is now at risk. Will get slowed down by the Leona ultimate. The flash from Fido in. Kevy straight into the mix, right? Corporal's just going to start shielding him. And the chances that they die at this point without the Jinx, as he was dead, is close to 0. And it's just a clean-up duty game from Kevy from Bio.
It's what they're after, and it's what they found in this game so far. 2 inhibitors already claimed inside the base of Kanga Esports. 10 seconds left on this Baron buff, and they're going to clean sweep this map to make sure there is nowhere to run or hide. 8 structures taken for Order. It's been their game plan all day long. They've been trading. But they've been treading to this success.
Graves is coming down now. Excuse me, if there was a moment to look for that Hecarim ultimate. It'd have to be when all 5 members are here and grouped. But it'd also have to be before the supers start to build and crash. You've got 30 seconds to work with before the pressure becomes really difficult to deal with.
Level 16 advantages for a lot of members on the side of Order. Level 3 upgrades on those ultimates could come in clutch right now as the Moonlight Vigil goes out. A fair bit of damage on towards Fido. Back into the fountain you go. The thumbs up are here. Order are doing the dance. The tango of all tangos as they just wait for super minions to come from top, mid and bot.
Yeah, and the supers are now crashing from top and mid. Biopanther's pressure is now through the roof. And it's just about finding your moments.
He's looking for it. They're clumped up. He's found 2 and Kisei takes no invitation better than that one. They find the kills mid-jungle, they'll claim it, they'll do it, and the rocket fizzles out. What was a great chance for Kanga in this game. Order at 30 minutes on the dot, start the day with a win.
Yeah, and in the end, it's just a solid game from Order, right? They have the Yasuo Diana combo, but it's the Malphite Yasuo that we're really celebrating. Kevy's just a carry in a standalone fashion. Didn't really have to do anything with the Yasuo. And again, just to be crystal clear, it wasn't a perfect game by any means from Order. There were still a couple of small errors here and there, a couple of times caught out of position. perhaps from individuals, and that's to credit Kanga for me specifically, because I feel like they were much improved. They were much improved, just not enough to beat a team like Order.
As far as early games go, right, if you're looking at areas to try and focus on with what the champions they had, it certainly worked in their favor. And it's good signs, Mac. I mean, good signs if you're saying you've got a roster now with options, with ideas to bring in players for certain abilities. It's a great first game for them.
Yeah, I really loved what Fido was bringing to that mid lane. Not only first blood in his first game here on the LCO, man was popping off. And look, I love a little bit of Vex in mid. However, I love a bit of Yasuo that little bit more. I feel like Kisei didn't have as good of a performance today on the Yasuo as we saw last week. But he wasn't really needed, right? He just had to survive. He just had to fall back when he needed and stop giving over too many kills, which, look, I guess he was probably the weakest point in that Order roster when you're having a look at the sort of mid-game. But it wasn't an issue, right? Because the gold was just so much in favor of Order. And then off this Baron buff, they managed to string it out another like 4k, 5k or so. Got the whole base off of it, and that was pretty much gained. So very unfortunate for Kanga because they had such a strong early game. They got the kills, they looked like they were keeping it competitive, and all things considered, they looked like they were communicating and coordinating so much better today. Unfortunately, Order were just that sort of edge ahead at every given moment, Rusty.
Yeah, I think composition was a lot easier for Order to execute as well. There's a lot of cooldown reliance here for the side of Kanga, and they also have a Graves that ran Exhaust in top lane into the Malphite matchup, which doesn't feel like it's going to provide as much for the map as what BioPanther was able to do. So a couple of little details made things so much harder for Kanga, but definitely much improved. I think only in Lionel being on the same screen, majority of the mid to late game was a very promising sign from my eyes, as those two together have to be the bulk of the teams engaged in team fighting initiation. So they were finding the picks, they were in the right places at the right times, and they were getting some gold. It's just the rest of the team was not always there at the same moments, right? Limas dead before fights happened, or overextensions from Kanga when the fight wasn't real.
And look at the gold difference. Like, that wasn't that bad before the Baron. It was like 6k, I think. So that got stretched out right in those last final moments. Of course, that's what happens when you take a bunch of objectives too, right? So interesting scenario. I feel like, look, Kanga in terms of those objectives as well, managing to get a couple of those Drakes. Good fights around it as well, keeping Order back, you know, making sure that they were playing on those summoner cooldowns as well, just knowing exactly when the flashes were there, weren't there, and when it was that little bit safer to go in. So I feel like Kanga, they are improving and maybe could have got the W today, but Order, you know, it's just like individual outclassing, and the fact that you guys mentioned it as well, Bio was just stuck there for, it was a good 6-7 seconds, just unable to move. You feel bad for him, but he soaked up all the CC, so the Baron was free, and then it was just the turnaround afterwards, right, Rusty?
You know that tweet from Popboon that was like, top lane is irrelevant? That's what that felt like. He just stood still for 7 seconds while his team won the game, got the Baron, got the team fight. He's just thumbs up. I became into an actual rock Malphite just sitting there.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. Now, let's bring Kitty back into the conversation. How'd you enjoy that game?
Well, I was also stunned for about 6 seconds when I saw BioPanther being stunned for those 6 seconds at Baron. But someone who wasn't stunned was Kevy, so let's bring him in for the interview. Hello, Kevy. Congrats on the amazing win. You had a 100% KP ending that game, but you guys did struggle during the mid-game. What role did you have to change into for you guys to reach that win?
Honestly, yeah, the early game went pretty terribly, but like, all I remember is like Bio just saying comms like 10 times, like just wait for Grace to show bot, because like he didn't take TP, you know. Also, I didn't even realize I had 100% KP. That's kind of cool.
That will definitely boost up your stats for the LCO. But something else that was really interesting was that from the Orders draft, that you guys actually took away a lot of Kanga's comfort picks, such as the Yasuo and the Aphelios from Kanga's bot lane. Was this a coincidence, or you guys always intended to have this draft going into this game?
Honestly, like, I've never seen them mid play Yasuo. I know he was like known for it ages ago or something, but we weren't too scared of that. And then like Puma just wanted to play Aphelios, so we gave him Aphelios. Yeah. Well,
Badoink is a known Yasuo player. I've known him for ages, but you know, you guys did pull out the Yasuo Diana again, and you guys did really well on it. So congrats on the win again, and hopefully you get a good night's rest for tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you.
Sounds like he needed a little bit of sleep too, but look, knowing Kevy, he's probably just going to be jumping into solo queue and not actually getting any rest anyway, so who knows. Either way, predictions, you three got it correct, so no separation there, and I'm just, you know, digging that trench even deeper, and I'm enjoying my time down in the hole. It's actually really comfy down here. I don't think I ever want to leave. It's a good time. It is a good time. But look, we have to talk about a player of the game. Who do you guys think it is?
I want to give it to Biopanther just for being an absolute tie today.
Card pick?
Yeah.
Card pick? Kevy?
Kevy?
We interviewed him. That's the logic that we always do.
I feel like, look, honourable mention to Bio for just tanking all that CC. You know, most damage is taken probably, but it wasn't him. It was, in fact, Kevy, who is all over the damn Rift for Order, taking the dub, and 100% kill participation is very hard to achieve, but he's done it. Tick it off the achievement list, Rust.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. 100% is very rarely seen, even in games where you are a major part of the combo. And he was, right? With a couple of the skirmishes, wasn't even full combos, but here's Kevy getting it done.
Yeah.
And like he kind of mentioned, it was a little bit rough in the early game. They actually had a very good measure of the first clear, and Kanga kind of kept their tabs on him brilliantly and made it so difficult for the Dyna to exist that where there's a Kevy, there's a way. And he found it.
He definitely existed a lot today. It seemed to take it out of him because he did sound kind of tired there in the interview. Now, anything you want to touch on there, Kitty? You didn't really get to have your say about the game. Anything you noticed? Any cool things?
It was really nice seeing Order actually playing around the Malphite TP for those objective fights, especially when you know that Graves has the exhaust, which I thought was pretty useless into a Malphite. Like, who are exhausting in your lane? Probably the Yasuo, I don't know. Why not the support just take it? But
Very true.
you know, we did see Order execute their draft really well during those team fights, so yeah, I applaud them.
Very well played by Order, and very well played by you guys at home. Why? Because we have content from the fans. It's your favorite moments in League of Legends. Let's have a look at who it is and what the memory is. So, it's Go Gadget Cast. Can't go past my pentakill in the highly prestigious 2012 Ministry Esports ODC. So, looks like he was very, very excited about that one. Have you ever heard of this individual before, Skimmy?
I think so.
Yeah?
I think he's behind the scenes, you know, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, getting it done for us on the social media landscape from time to time. So, what a player. You know, clearly, he's in the right place. He's involved in esports. He's got a background in just absolute performance, pedigree, pentakills. I'm just actually really appreciating some of these old player portraits,
This
actually
is
champion
ancient,
portraits.
bro.
Because look, what do we actually have that's still consistent today? It's just
The
is it just
Corki.
Corki? That's it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
pre
not Ash?
It's pre-rift change. No, that's Corki.
Oh,
No,
the
like,
Ash
I'm looking at
icons
the
also
Ash
the
as
same.
well, right? It's Ash and Corki. Everything else is new. All the
Oh,
portraits.
right.
Guys, why is League so... Old League used to be so ugly, oh my god. Let's be real here.
Well, thank Riot for, you know, that visual upgrade at whatever year that ended up coming in. Obviously wasn't 2012 just yet, but shout outs to Big Man Blakey, king on the Corki. Now, before we go to the break, you guys, look, we love your content, but make sure you're following the Twitter as well, or you're going to miss the posts going out. You're going to miss your opportunity to share the love of the game, to share your moments, to share your memes, and to tell us what's good, but also not miss the match updates, the memes, all the good stuff that the LCO social media team is providing to you guys too. It's good content. It's good content. Everything's good content, so make sure you are creating it, make sure you're involved, and following the Twitter is a good way to get started. But look, speaking of getting started, that's one game out of the way. We have a few more to get through, you know, each day, 4 games, and this second one's going to pop off. We got Peace, we got Direwolves, and after this, they go head-to-head to see if Direwolves can get some revenge for last time.
Mid lane, Uber, what can you do? Red and white! We're caught an ambulance, and this time it is for me. Lives. Surviving without a hole breaker, but he still has the shield bow online and active to go. So they're not going to connect, but it does not matter. Shutdown is found. Fighter with the kill. He's burnt that flash. Now is he compromised? He doesn't have his own use.
big.
He may just sign the process of it. And Bind Panther, angered by the fact that he died, is going to come back.